Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Rebecca, and I apply spiritual principles to conflict resolution. Today we're talking about astrology, and why I love astrology for conflict is because astrology tells a story. You have a point of origin, you have a context, you have a progression of factors, you have complications, and you have potential areas for resolution, and you have different choices, just like in conflict, right? So the first thing is today we have a new moon in Cancer. So let's go back, because this story started a couple months ago. So we're going to go back to the last couple weeks of April. I think it was like April 22nd. So think back to the time. The coronavirus had hit. You're probably under lockdown. I'm in the United States, so 50% of the US is unemployed now, so chances are very good that your employment status changed. Everything changed. If you went to the gym, you're not going to the gym anymore. Whatever your life looked like, it looks different now. And it's not going to look the same again. So what was happening around then and why we begin at that point of origin is that you're starting to have to figure new things out. You're looking at the world in a different way. Even if you didn't want to look at the world in a different way, you have to look at the world in a different way. At the end of April, there was a new moon in Ashwini. The symbol of Ashwini is a stallion. So it signifies horsepower. This is the initiatory energy of the stars, of all of Vedic wisdom. Right? So you have this start to something. Whatever you're figuring out, whatever you're thinking of, whatever you are initiating, that's the start of it. 2 weeks later, we have a full moon in Vishaka. Vishaka is an archway, literally meaning you are leaving the old, you are walking into a new world. 2 weeks later, we have Krittika. Krittika is, think a knife. That's the butcher cast. So think cutting. This is about purification of your idea and clarity of your idea. 2 weeks later, we have Jyestha, full moon. Jyestha means eminence. So it's called the billionaire nakshatra. So people who have this moon placement, there are a disproportionate number of billionaires who have this moon placement. So people are highly successful in it, but it's also the nakshatra of hidden enemies. Because when you are achieving things, when you are accomplishing, you have a lot of people who are not trying to see you succeed. So you have things lurking in the shadows, you have people working against you, you have forces working against you. That's what that's about, right? So you're progressing, you're being clear on your idea, you're walking forward, and there are complications happening. Right? So 2 weeks later, we have a new moon in Ardra. Ardra, the symbol is a storm, and the energy behind it is righteous anger. And you'll notice what we were experiencing at the time as a nation and then globally is a lot of unrest, because we're looking, this is astrology for the United States. We're looking at systems and we're looking at what's wrong with these systems. So we're seeing the very worst in them because vulnerabilities show you where you need to fix things. So we're having a couple months now of vulnerabilities being exposed. And Ardra is this feeling of righteous anger. So for you, for me, we have these ideas that are originating, and we're having to think about our lives differently. And we're having to think about our place in the world differently. And so here we are with the storm, and this nakshatra a month ago was about how it's in Cancer, so how you're feeling comfortable, what you're feeling comfortable with, what's okay with you. Consider how a storm clears things out. So again, it's something that brings clarity. Later, 4th of July, we have a full moon in Purva Ashada. Purva Ashada is ultimate victory. So you're progressing, you have complications, you're clearing, you're purifying, you have righteous anger, you're still moving forward. And here we are, Purva Ashada. This is an elephant, and it is ruled by a water deity, a water goddess. So it's flowing, strong, but it's being very strong in what it is that you have to say. Have you ever noticed an elephant doesn't rush? An elephant moves forward. The sheer force of the elephant is what will move that which is ahead of it. That's the energy. So now, where we are today, it's a second new moon in Cancer, which astrologically is a big deal. But it's asking us to look at what we were looking at a month ago. So this is looking at our sense of home, our sense of belonging, our sense of who we are, what we're doing, and then this other sense of what it is that we have to say. Right? So it's signified by two things. One is a lotus blossom, and the lotus blossom is success, fruition, and accomplishment. The second symbol is the udder, nourishment, because we cannot accomplish things without nourishment. You don't do good work without rest, and it's said that you produce great things under stress. I work well under a deadline, but that's not when I have my best ideas. I have my best ideas when I'm in the shower, when I'm working out, when I'm sitting, when I'm meditating, when I feel comfortable. And that's the idea. So that's what this energy is how you feel comfortable, how you feel nourished. So the energy right now is we're in this safe, mothering, nurturing place so that we can accomplish our greatest goals. The Nakshatra, Pushya, what it actually means is blossoming fortune needs tongues to endeavor. And it's ruled by Jupiter, right? So here's what all of that means and where we are situated right now. Two things that are needed for this Nakshatra: the endeavorer and the tongues. Right? The endeavorer is you. It is the idea that you've been thinking of. It's all of the spare projects that are sitting around your desk. It's all the spare thoughts that are going around in your mind. It's all the things you think about. And it's all the things that you're imagining that you'd like to bring into the world. The tongues is how you bring it into the world. It is how you speak it. It is how you write it. It is how you communicate it. But it is how the tongue is the way that you bring your endeavors into existence. So Pushya talks about achieving your fullest potential. And that's where we are right now. This is the most advantageous time to initiate something under this Nakshatra, under this moon. So if you are watching this video in the last 2 weeks of July, initiate it. Whatever you have to think, don't fear anymore, initiate it. Because what this Nakshatra is, what this promises us, is fortune that endures. And I'll tell you the difference. Often you'll see people who are motivated by revenge, or somebody's made a fool of them and they're out to get that person, or they're out to one-up somebody. This is not the energy. Because if you one-up somebody, the next thing is they will one-up you, and then it will continue. So that's not a victory that is lasting. What Pushya talks about here is fortune that endures. So what kind of fortune endures is that which is good for universal welfare, that which is moral, that which benefits everybody. It is not driven from a selfish place. It is not driven from a place that seeks to exploit others or seeks to take advantage of other people for their benefit. That's what Ardra took care of. That's the righteous anger. That's not where we are. So what this energy is wonderful for initiating is the lasting luck that you've created for yourself. Luck is not a roll of the dice. Luck is something that you have prepared for. And if you initiate it, it will endure if it is moral and meant for universal good. The final element is this Jupiter element. Jupiter is referred to astrologically as the guru, meaning it is the ultimate authority. In Vedic, guru is somebody who will attach you to a deity. In other religions, you will have a spiritual leader who will speak to God on your behalf. That is not what I ascribe to. What they're referring to by guru is your connection with the divine, your connection with the supreme. When you are looking at what you have to say, who your enemies are, who can potentially hurt you, you're looking at this juxtaposition of the safe space and the protection, right? So if it's in a personal relationship, imagine you're on shaky ground. Your personal relationships are not where you're supposed to be on shaky ground. So if it's a personal relationship and you want to feel safe there, the protective factor is needing to clarify that. That's the conflict. And if you have to fear about asking, you're probably not in a good place, right? Take this now into your work. You have something to say, and when you say it, not everybody will like it. So you will have people who are coming to attack you. So you have to look at this principle as well. And this is what we're reconciling with the energy. We've been working on it. We know we need to make a change. We know we need to initiate something that is for universal good. It is not coming from a selfish place, and yet we have to reconcile what's comfortable with the protection that we need to continue to feel comfortable. Now, the guru element. This nakshatra is ruled by Brihaspati. The father of Brihaspati is fire. Fire gives us warmth, and fire gives us light. Light to show us the path, and warmth to nourish us. The mother is trust, faith, and confidence. So when you have the faith, when you have the trust, that what you have to say is moral and is coming from a place that will benefit others, that does not seek to exploit others, that seeks to strike a balance in the world, regardless of what others have to say about it, regardless of how others may come to attack you for it, it is important that it is said. And this is the guru element, because when you have that truth, that is your connection with the divine. The blossoming fortune needs tongues to endeavor. This is the importance of it. You must always, in addition to the endeavor, in addition to the idea, you must have the courage to bring it into the world. This is your connection with the divine. This is your purpose.